Hey, everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
Welcome, Martha. Welcome to Alderson, West Virginia, the prison town that will be Martha Stewart's home for the next 5 months.
Fans and photographers tried to catch a glimpse of the young star as if they were watching a celebrity strut the red carpet.
Tell me your name and your badge number. White Key.
Ezra.
Full name, full badge number.
Since Diddy has been arrested for his crime ring that occurs mostly at his parties, celebrities have been speaking up about the star, telling the world their experiences with him and the parties. Now, in 1994, Usher lived with Diddy, which is said to have been recommended by L.A. Reid so Usher could get the flavor of the high life. Diddy had custody of him and was able to do whatever he wanted with the future star. A 2016 clip of Usher on the Howard Stern show, though, has been going viral, as a clip shows Stern asking Usher if Diddy's home was known for wild parties. Usher then said, "Not really, I got a chance to see some things. I don't know if I could indulge and even understand what I was looking at." He went on to say, "It was pretty wild, it was crazy. There were very curious things taking place, and I didn't necessarily understand it." Now, it seems like he was exposed to all of this at a very young age and was not ready. Diddy really took advantage of Usher's innocence, as I'm sure he saw some pretty messed up things happening. YouTuber Jeff Wittick has also spoken out about attending Diddy's parties. Now, he spoke about it on his podcast, Jeff FM. He claimed that he had a recent realization remembering he'd been to a Diddy party. And these Diddy parties are like effing crazy, like they're the best parties, like people wanted to go to them, he said. That's what's been so troubling about this whole thing, is like if you were anybody in the space at that time, you'd be at one of those parties. Everybody went to those parties and people took pictures with him too. Like, bro, if you were around in the mid-2000s and you saw Diddy at a Super Bowl, you'd take a picture with him. Now, speaking of the party he attended, Jeff said he went to one of them with Amber Rose and his ex-girlfriend and remembers being confused over them getting dressed up. He continued by saying, "I'm like dressing up like I'm going to a normal party or whatever. Like, I got my effing polo with the collar pop, two of them, I've doubled up, and they're wearing this lingerie where their bodies are showing through, and I'm like, you guys are going like that," and they were like, "You don't understand these parties," and I did not understand. Now, Jeff also said he witnessed people getting intimate at the party right in front of him, and he said he did not participate in that part, but he got super drunk. "It was just crazy, I was literally there and lived through it," he added. Now, it seems like Ashton Kutcher knows something, but he's not willing to reveal it to the world. During a 2019 episode of Hot Ones, the host asked Ashton about Diddy's infamous parties. "I've got a lot I can't tell," he said. "Can't tell that one either, I'm actually cycling through them. Diddy party stories, man, that was some weird memory lane thing." Now, the fact that he has all these different stories but he can't tell them raises some eyebrows. It's like he knows what happened in the stories was wrong and messed up, and he doesn't want to admit it. Now, footage has emerged of Ashton at one of Diddy's white parties, and although there was nothing illegal shown in the clip, it still raises a lot of questions. Now, Diddy and Ashton met through MTV and became friends very quickly. I think Ashton knows more about the whole situation than he's really letting on to, as he could get into major trouble for what happened. Then there's the Kardashians. During a 2014 episode of Keeping Up with the Kardashians, Khloe Kardashian told her older sister Kourtney that she spent the weekend with a bunch of her friends, including Diddy, Quincy Combs, Justin Bieber, and French Montana. Later on, she spoke more about the party to Kourtney and one of her friends who was also there. "I haven't been to bed yet, I got on a plane at 5:30 a.m., Khloe shared. "Well, this party, I think half the people were butt naked," she added. Then Khloe's friend tried telling more about what happened, but Khloe shushed her. What was she trying to hide? Now, another clip, this time from a 2016 episode of Cocktails with Khloe, has gone viral, showing Khloe and Kourtney talking to Diddy. "Well, I know you're known for the parties. When you think of a party or a good time, you think of Puff." Chloe said. Now Diddy simply responded yeah, to which Chloe added, "We've been known to party with you a few times." Kourtney asking, "Do you remember Diddy's birthday?" To which Kourtney admitted, "Yes, I forgot about that. That was an epic night too." Ray J was recently interviewed by Chris Como on the news station Como, and he opened up about his relationship with Diddy, having gone to many of his parties. Ray J was adamant though that everything at these parties was normal. "We've never seen the stuff that's being said and the stuff that people's finding out. Like, I've never been in the rooms that people are talking about, and I never knew they existed," he said. Ray J then admitted Diddy's situation is unfortunate, and he says the next generation of entertainers should learn from the Bad Boy Records CEO's mistakes and show more integrity and transparency. But just because Ray J didn't see the crimes happening doesn't mean that they weren't. According to a former music industry insider, Tom Swoop, he had been to the parties and posted about it on his YouTube channel. He broke down how the parties worked for viewers and claims that the parties were separated into tiers of access. There was general admission, then a series of tiers ending with entrance to the inner circle where the real partying went on. Now this allegedly included humiliating male and female guests on the promise of record deals or money. Now it sounds like Ray J was part of the general admissions tier and wasn't exposed to all the bad things happening behind closed doors. In a resurfaced video from 2010, Russell Brand said that Diddy took him on an enforced holiday when the pair were working on the movie Get Him to the Greek. "Diddy is new to me, right?" he said at the time. "He looked after me, he took me on an enforced holiday to Vegas. He's a very intense man because I think he comes from nothing and now he's very, very powerful. People that do stuff like that, they're very intense. Now, I like him, he's very influential," he explained, adding that saying no to Diddy was difficult. Say that you don't want to do something and Diddy wants you to do it, it's really hard to not do that thing. You still do it because you think, don't upset him, he said. "He's an influential person, he may ask you for loads of favors and you can't say no to him. That's my worry, pressure," he added. "I don't want to be nobody's B, I work too hard in life, not even Diddy's B." Now, Russell has been accused of similar crimes as Diddy has been, which is just something to note. And finally, Rodney Jones was a producer on Diddy's last album and he filed a lawsuit against the star. He accused the rapper of mistreating him and exposing him to several crimes. In an August interview with Rolling Stone, Rodney called Diddy a monster and said he is hiding, afraid that he will have his life ended for speaking up against the star. "He's a monster," he told the magazine. "He'll do whatever necessary to get what he wants. He doesn't take no for an answer. He told me himself, 'I'll smack my mama.' Anyone who can say that even jokingly is a monster. He's nothing to be played with." For a person whose brand is Love Records and changed their name to Love and named their kid Love, he doesn't show love, he's just marketing. He went on to say that he is afraid of Diddy. "I got threats, I've never had so much hitting me at once. Diddy has a lot of people on his payroll in a lot of different positions. He's very connected, it's made me nervous traveling," he said. Diddy though has denied all of this. Mr. Jones's lawsuit is pure fiction, a shameless attempt to create media hype and extract a quick settlement, Diddy's lawyer Erica Wolf said in a statement after filing a new motion to dismiss Rodney's amended 98-page complaint. Now I think Rodney was very brave for what he's done, and his lawsuit was the catalyst in the downfall of Diddy. Now after Diddy's place got raided, rapper 50 Cent, real name Curtis Jackson III, responded on Twitter saying, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." Now while 50 Cent was not named in the lawsuit against Combs, a woman identified as Daphne Joy, who shares a child with 50 Cent, was named in the suit. In a statement posted on Instagram, Joy responded to 50 Cent saying, "Everything is a joke until our safety is compromised, which is happening right now." Now Joy went on to accuse 50 Cent of physically mistreating her and said, "You have broken our hearts for the last and final time." Next up is Stevie J. In addition to Joy, another celebrity named in the suit, Stevie J, Stephen Aaron Jordan, also responded to 50 Cent on social media. Stevie J hit back at 50 Cent on Instagram and said, "Since it's entertainment, let me beat the out of you on TV or something." Now it's alleged that the Grammy winner Stevie J, Diddy's longtime collaborator, recruited and participated in Combs' freak-offs in his amended complaint filed in the U.S. District Court in the Southern District of New York, though it does not name Stevie J as a defendant. Now Diddy is accused of instructing Stevie J to teach him the type sex workers to solicit and the way to solicit them. It's alleged that Stevie J sent threatening messages when the plaintiff, Rodney Jones, publicly asked Combs to pay him for his work on Combs' The Love album. The complaint also says that Combs used his connection to Stevie J, Rodney's idol, to pressure Rodney into being intimate. "I've never seen my man do anything foul like they talking about. I've never seen it. I've known him for 29 years, Stevie J told TMZ earlier this month. Moving on to Young Miami. Young Miami, a member of City Girls, is mentioned in Jones's amended complaint filed in the U.S. District Court of the Southern District of New York. Now, she is not a defendant, nor is she accused of misconduct. She is listed as being a part of Combs' operation and accused of bringing Diddy illegal substances on a private jet. The complaint says she was retained on a monthly stipend as one of sex workers, and it also alleges that her cousin, named as Jane Doe 1, took advantage of Rodney. Now, since the raid, she has shared numerous posts on social media, but many of the posts are promoting a new song that she is releasing. Aaron Hall, an R&B singer who was part of the group Guy, was named as a defendant in a complaint filed against Diddy last November in the New York Supreme Court ahead of the expiration date for New York's Adult Survivors Act, which provide a one-year window in which people could bring cases of SA outside the typical statute of limitations. The plaintiff, who is named Lisa Gardner, accuses Combs and Aaron Hall of SAing her and her friend in Aaron's apartment after a music industry event by MCA Records in 1990. She says Combs coerced her into being intimate with him and that afterward, Aaron barged into the room, pinned her down, and forced her to be intimate with him too. The plaintiff also alleges that Combs found her at her home and choked her until she passed out, as he was worried his girlfriend would find out about the incident, the complaint says. Now let's talk about Cuba Gooding Jr. An amended complaint filed in March in the U.S. District Court of Southern District, New York by Rodney Jones lists Cuba Gooding Jr. as a defendant. Now, Rodney accuses Cuba of harassment and SA. Specifically, Rodney accuses Combs of grooming him to pass him off to Cuba. Now, the two were left alone in a makeshift studio on a yacht rented by Combs, according to the complaint. There, Gooding began inappropriately touching Rodney. Now, it's to be known that the actor previously pleaded guilty to a misdemeanor count of forcibly touching, so this incident being real isn't shocking. Now we have Lucian Grange. The CEO of Universal Music Group and father-in-law to Sophia Richie, Lucian Grange is also listed as a defendant in Rodney's amended complaint. He's accused of aiding and abetting Combs, specifically in racketeering and trafficking. Rodney says that as CEO, Lucian had a duty to ensure the financial support they provided to Sean Combs and Love Records was not being used for drugs, and laced alcohol. Now, attorneys for Grange have filed a motion to dismiss, in which they call the accusations offensively false. In a sworn statement to the court, Grange called the accusations completely untrue and absurd, and said he plans to pursue both plaintiffs and his counsel for having made such false accusations. Now, Grange also points to the fact that he is the CEO of a multinational public company, and that he's not involved in day-to-day operation of the company's thousands of agreements. Now, in a statement to Business Insider, Grange's attorney Donald S. Zarkin called the complaint offensively reckless. The plaintiff has now attempted to amend his claims against Sir Lucian, removing the original set of outrageous falsehoods related to Sir Lucian, replacing them with wholly contradictory new falsehoods that are equally absurd, he said. Not only will we demonstrate the offensive falsity of these claims, but we will seek recovery of every penny of cost and damage caused by their assertion. Moving on to Justin Dior Combs. Justin Dior Combs, Diddy's 30-year-old son, is a defendant in Rodney's amended complaint. In a wide-range list of allegations, Rodney accuses Justin Combs of soliciting as well as engaging in freak-offs. He also says the younger and older Combs were the only two people present in the room when G, a friend of his, was shot at a recording studio, implying that one of them shot G. Now, Justin Combs was at Diddy's Los Angeles home when it was raided by feds and was seen handcuffed on the lawn outside, though he was not arrested. Justin Combs' lawyer said that the complaint was utterly bonkers on his radio show Beyond the Legal Limit. It's clearly written in an effort to get as much publicity as possible, not only for the case, but for the lawyer whose name I don't even remember, literally some maniac, he said. Then there's Prince Harry. Now, Diddy is said to have drawn guests to his infamous parties through his VIP associations with celebrities, such as famous athletes, political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry, according to the legal notice. Now, there's no suggestion of any wrongdoing by the prince, and his name is only mentioned once in the documents as an example of a well-known celebrity associate of Combs. Now, both Harry and his brother Prince William were pictured with Combs and Kanye West in 2007 after the musicians performed in the Concert for Diana at Wembley Stadium. So to reiterate, Harry has not been accused of anything. Next up are the anonymous celebrities. While there are anonymous or redacted celebrities named in the suit, it's not too difficult to figure out who they are. While Chris Brown isn't named specifically in court documents, he's referenced as one of two redacted figures, redacted R&B singer, who was specifically alleged to have been in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home consorting with girls. Now, another clue that points to it being Chris is the footnote at the bottom of the same page, which reads, a Grammy Award-winning R&B singer who had trouble with law enforcement after assaulting a ball gym billionaire. Then, like Chris, while Meek Mill wasn't named specifically in court documents, he's referenced as one of the two redacted rapper figures who was specifically and allegedly in Mr. Combs' Los Angeles home consorting with girls and f***ers. Now, another clue that points to it being Meek is in the footnote at the bottom of the same page, which reads, he is a Philadelphia rapper who dated Nicki Minaj. And lastly, we have Bishop T.D. Jakes. While the bishop was not alleged to have done anything illegal per court documents, he was named as one of the people Diddy allegedly intended to leverage a relationship with in order to soften the impact on his public image of Casey Venture's lawsuit. Now, Diddy and the bishop joined forces back in 2021 for an ongoing religious series entitled Kingdom Culture with T.D. Jakes. In 2022, the two were spotted together in photographs at Diddy's 53rd birthday party, which prompted an outcry and criticism on social media about the relationship between religious leaders and music figures. In late 2023, the bishop would come under fire again on social media after an unfounded report claimed that he was engaging in activity with men at Diddy's parties. Now, he addressed the Diddy rumors once in a December 2022 comment from his representatives, and again during a Christmas Eve sermon, during which he let folks know that they can log off the online broadcast of the service if they came to hear him address a lie.
Number 10. Seth Rogen and James Franco. Our first spot on this list is a double down, as the situation surrounding their run from the law was a shared experience. In 2014, Seth Rogen and James Franco starred in a little film called The Interview, in which they play a talk show producer and host respectively, and are granted the opportunity to interview the supreme leader of North Korea. Spoiler alert, at the end of that movie, the supreme leader is blown up in a helicopter and the heroes liberate the country. Needless to say, that did not sit well for Kim. When news of the film and its content began circulating a few months before its scheduled worldwide theater release, the Korean government hacked Sony's servers to watch the film and gained the private information of its employees. This led to Seth and James personally being threatened by Korean law enforcement that they were being viewed as enemies to the country and were therefore a threat. This caused Rogen and Franco to go into hiding, having Sony Studios hire 24/7 security at their private homes. The government continued to threaten the two until they had edited the movie to the supreme leader's approval. After a couple of months of hiding, Rogen joked about in his book Yearbook that one morning those guards that were in front of his house were just gone. Yeah, no goodbye, no good luck, nothing. It was decided that the film would make more money and be more accessible if it premiered online, making it one of the first full-length feature films to premiere on the Google Play Store. I got it on iTunes. Okay, I downloaded it illegally. Number 9. Bam Margera. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. Bam Margera is best known for bringing his body to the brink of destruction on numerous occasions. I run down the titles of things that he's been in, but most of them are just a little bit too raunchy for YouTube, so I don't know, Google his name and just figure it out for yourself. Unfortunately, Bam has also been one of the many Hollywood bad boys that have fallen into serious addiction and substance control problems. Since the mid-2000s, Bam has been in and out of prisons and rehabs, always being able to clean up his act momentarily, but unfortunately falling right back into his old habits. This is too bad, considering just last year on fellow stuntman Steve O's podcast, Bam reported that he was doing very well and he had actually just finished a full year in rehabilitation. It seems that he has returned to his rambunctious ways though, as a few weeks ago it was reported that there was a warrant out for Bam's arrest following an altercation with his brother, which included Bam spouting very threatening threats to his entire family. A manhunt was issued for the stuntman, as his many run-ins listed him as dangerous and aggressive. After 3 days, the hunt was called off because because Bam came to his senses and decided to turn himself in. So far, there is no news on the outcome of what actually happened to Bam, but we're pretty certain it's not great. It's probably not good. Number 8. Ezra Miller. Ezra Miller has been in the acting scene since 2008, first appearing in films such as After School and Perks of Being a Wallflower. They seemed like a normal functioning member of society until 2019, when cast and crew started noticing odd behavior from the actor. They'd often appear wearing capes or robes on set that were never actually a part of the wardrobe, as well as having scattered thoughts and motivation both on and off screen. In 2020, a video surfaced of Miller in a violent altercation outside of a bar in Iceland, which would be the first of many videos showcasing the actor's misdeeds, eventually leading to Miller breaking and entering into someone's house in Hawaii of all places. I guess they were a little bit chilly and they couldn't find a blanket or something, I don't know. Miller then went on to run from Hawaiian authorities for a little over a week, supposedly squatting in abandoned buildings and sleeping on the beach. They were eventually caught and charged with breaking and entering, as well as aggravated swatting, as Miller had apparently gotten into a fist fight just before breaking into the house. Yeah, 2 birds, 1 stone. Number 7. Shakira. While her hips may not lie, apparently she does. Famous pop singer Shakira made headlines in 2018 when Spanish prosecutors announced that Shakira failed to pay $14.5 million in European taxes between 2012 and 2014. Shakira has claimed that her primary residence at the time was in the Bahamas, but the authorities say that she was living in Barcelona during this period in a house that she had purchased in May of 2012. Shakira was adamant that this never took place, and the Spanish government were simply trying to ruin her name. She dodged the Spanish government for years until she was forced to pay the full tax debt plus $3 million in interest. But the law didn't stop there, as they apparently continued to berate her to this day, claiming that there's still money owed on her account. Shakira finally had enough and decided to stop avoiding the law and face them head on, beginning a lawsuit which she is said to be very confident to win. Number 6. Mark Wahlberg. That's right, Mackie Mac from the Funky Bunch once ran from the law for something that happened in his youth in 1999. From a young age, Mark actually suffered from substance control issues, which many linked to his parents' divorce when he had just become a teenager. He took a lot of his anger out on those around him while under the influence, with one instance leaving him on the run and in hiding from authorities for over a month. One night on his way home, Wahlberg ran into and began an altercation with 2 Vietnamese men using a large stick as a weapon. This escalated to the point where one man was left blind in one eye and Mark was charged with attempted extermination. This charge was very serious, and knowing what could come of it caused Wahlberg to pack his bags and bolt, staying with friends for a month until he was eventually found and arrested. He pleaded guilty to aggravated thwacking and was sentenced to 2 years, of which he only served 45 days. He's since become a Hollywood giant, starring in blockbusters like the Transformers franchise, and he's steered clear of the law ever since. Number 5. Michelle Rodriguez. While many fans know Rodriguez as the action star from the Fast and Furious franchise and most recently the new Dungeons and Dragons movie, she's best known by law enforcement for her many drinking and driving related incidents. These included a number of charges from driving under the influence to attempted swatting while under the influence. These sentences carried out a small jail sentence of only a few days each, but in one instance Rodriguez only served 4 hours of a 4-day prison sentence due to overcrowding, and she even served 2 days of a 60-day sentence for the same reason. While she may have been let out early, the charges did come with a significant amount of community service. Of course, as many of us know, when you are convicted of a crime, no matter how small, there tends to be a probationary period attached to it, meaning there's a certain amount of time when you are prohibited from violating specific rules and especially committing crimes. Unfortunately for Rodriguez, a hit-and-run incident in Los Angeles placed her in violation of said parole and a warrant was issued for her arrest. The actress was nowhere to be seen following the incident, as multiple attempts to contact her by police went nowhere. It turns out she had been hiding from them because she knew this time there would be no overcrowding loopholes. She was eventually arrested and was made to serve a 6-month jail stint for violation of her probation. And that rhymed. Number 4. Mel Gibson. In 2006, the Braveheart star was pulled over by Los Angeles police who suspected Gibson was not in his right mind to be behind the wheel of a car. While Mel has had many run-ins with the law over the years for numerous reasons, it was his issues with the happy juice that got him on this list. As the officers pulled Mel over, they calmly went through the procedure of administering a roadside sobriety test, which Mel of course failed. When he was politely asked by the officer to enter the squad car, not even putting handcuffs on this guy, he responded by literally running running from the law, like he sprinted away. According to the police reports, he made a mad dash towards his vehicle, but before the officer could start a foot pursuit, the go-go juice had already hit Mel's legs and he fell face first into the pavement. Way to make an impact, Mel. Get it? Because his face impacted the road and he's been in a movie. Moving on! Number 3, Ja Rule. Ja Rule is a famous rapper, producer, and actor with multiple platinum records under his belt. He's also well known among the rich and powerful as a silly man who invests in silly things. In 2018, Ja Rule began promoting a music festival called Fire. The festival was said to be a private concert on a luxurious beach in the Bahamas. People were paying him and the co-founder of the event, Billy McFarland, millions of dollars to rent private yachts and mega mansions that just, didn't exist. After the festival went forward as scheduled, many people were shocked to find that their homes were actually leftover hurricane shelters from the island, and that their 5-star meals would be of a worser quality than many middle school cafeterias. Not to mention, almost every single event, perk, or promise from that festival was cancelled or fake, and eventually the entire festival itself was cancelled. Thousands of disgruntled concert goers formed a civil suit against Ja Rule and Billy McFarland and had enough evidence and cause to win the battle with no effort. This may be why Ja Rule bailed. He fled the island the moment things started to go wrong on site, and he was elusive in the public eye for several weeks. Eventually, Rule was contacted by law enforcement and made aware of the charges that were being brought against him. Luckily for Ja Rule, he was only a part of the civil suit, while his partner Billy McFarland was sentenced to 6 years in jail after the FBI found evidence of multiple counts of wire fraud. Number 2, O.J. Simpson. Today we will be discussing O.J. Simpson, and no, it's not for what you might think. While O.J. had a major run-in with the law in the 1990s, he was later acquitted of those charges being brought against him. However, one night in 2007, O.J. gathered up a crew of goons and made his way to the Palace Station Hotel in Las Vegas, Nevada. A sports memorabilia dealer named Bruce Fremong testified that the men entered his hotel room and stole memorabilia while threatening his life. The altercation lasted for 6 minutes, but the event was described to have been fast and loud, as the crew were strictly there to keep Bruce quiet while the others took the goods. For 3 days following the event, police were on the search for OJ, as not only was the memorabilia that they stole specifically his, but nobody was wearing a mask or anything at that time, so Bruce was very quick to point the finger. OJ was eventually located and charged with robbery and aggravated pushiness, and was sentenced to 33 years in prison. And at number 1, Jake Lloyd. Jake was the little boy that became a Sith Lord, playing young Anakin Skywalker in Star Wars Episode 1. While his character eventually becomes Darth Vader, Lloyd's personal life would turn out to be just as rough. Following the release of the film, Jake was actually picked on relentlessly by both his peers and Star Wars fans. He grew up with people hating him in public settings and cursing his name whenever Episode 1 was ever mentioned. Seriously, people were hating on this guy like he was Greta Thunberg or something. This was surely an attributing factor to his growth as a person, as over the years he had become more and more violent in the public eye, and was well known for being short-tempered. In 2015, police chased the 26-year-old Lloyd for 25 miles before he finally crashed off a roadside on Interstate 95 in South Carolina. He was not intoxicated at the time, but after being arrested and sent for a psychiatric evaluation, it was concluded that the young actor had been suffering from schizophrenia and he was held for treatment. Number 10, the hypocrisy. Lizzo may have been a public advocate for body positivity, but as part of the lawsuit being brought against her, it seems like all of that positivity may have just been some act that she was putting on to make herself more universally loved. Now, I am not a small man. In fact, I have what many people consider to be a dad bod, and I'm cool with it. So I'm not dismissing the notion that we should love and respect ourselves, but she made it a massive part of her personality on camera when it sounds like the only body she actually cared about was her own. According to her dancers, Lizzo regularly shamed her team and made them feel that they were too large or gaining weight, with several dancers confirming these allegations. Liz made several posts over the years spreading the positive body image, but now she's being called out for being a massive hypocrite, which she 100% is. That's like the government telling you not to do something when they just do it anyway. They would never do that, right? Number 9. The leaked meeting. One of the dancers, Crystal Davies, who was a part of the lawsuit, was fired for secretly recording a meeting between herself and Lizzo. The meeting was about the dancer's performance on stage recently and Lizzo's apparent dislike of the weight that she had been gaining, claiming that she wasn't committing to her role. Initially, Davies only planned on recording the conversation for personal reasons. She has a condition that leaves her disoriented sometimes, and she wanted a backup on the off chance that she forgot what the meeting was about. After it was discovered that the audio recording recording existed, the dancer was promptly fired, apparently being pulled into a meeting just to get yelled at before they let her go, not even giving her a chance to speak. Lizzo exacting her star power to simply end the career of one of her main backup dancers is insane and is most certainly worth the lawsuit coming her way. Number 8. Her party lifestyle. One key factor of this lawsuit being brought against Lizzo is the place in which all these accusations went down. Lizzo was at a club in Amsterdam's red light district when she coerced, aka forced, one of her dancers to touch a woman's bare chest, despite saying several times that it was not something that she wanted to do. Facts are, this actually isn't the first time that Lizzo has been seen living it up at the club. Over the past few years, she's been known to be a regular party girl, spending a solid amount of time between touring to have just a good time and celebrate her success. But the amount in which she has been partying, despite being such an advocate for positivity, is wild. For someone who shares this message of loving yourself, she sure likes to drink the no-no juice, not to mention throwing her money around at every chance she gets. Nobody wants to talk about it, but that night in Amsterdam probably cost them a fortune. I don't know, I've never been. Moving on. Number 7. She made the dancers eat fruit. Alright, let's get into this Amsterdam situation. According to the lawsuit, Lizzo coerced her dancers to go out with her to a nightclub in the city's red light district. And once they arrived at the club, it was brought to their attention that the club encouraged dancers to wear their birthday suits. Dancers would also perform special shows in which they would launch things from their catapults. Nope, I don't like that one. Lizzo's team were encouraged to catch the launched items, which included various adult objects, and at one point the dancers were apparently encouraged to eat bananas that had been protruding from their fruit baskets. No, that's worse somehow. But that wasn't even the worst of it. Lizzo then told her crew to come with her to a club in Paris that was specifically filled with servers and staff wearing nothing at all. All the dancers were shocked and they were robbed of their choice to not attend. I think we can all agree being handed your food by someone in nothing but kitchen shoes sounds pretty uncomfortable. This is when Lizzo had heavily encouraged dancer Miss Davies to touch one performer on her chest, which she clearly did not want to do, but her boss yelled at her and told her to do it, so you know how that goes. Just an overall weird night, and I'm not even mildly shocked that someone came forward to call this out. Shady. Number 6. The dance captain. Lizzo is not the only person being named in this lawsuit. Her dance captain, Shirlene Quigley, is also facing a slew of accusations. According to the suit, Quigley shared lewd physical fantasies with dancers and the crew, and publicly discussed the purity of one performer while simultaneously berating all other dancers who had premarital relations. Now, sharing your beliefs is one thing, but trying to jam them down the throat of your employees, that's not a great move. According to several dancers from the past few years, whenever this woman was around, she was a nightmare, not only spouting her religious beliefs at anyone who had ears, but also attempting to convert several of the crew members. Quigley is being named personally in this lawsuit for creating a hostile work environment, having extreme racial biases, discrimination towards disabled employees, and a failure to prevent or remedy the situation. Number 5. Lizzo tried to distract us. Lizzo is just like the rest of the world. When she's had a few too many adult beverages, she's unable to keep her hands off her phone. According to a TikTok post from earlier this year, though, Lizzo admitted to sliding into Captain America star Chris Evans's DMs. She had apparently sent him emojis of dashing away, women playing handball, and a basketball. Now, I'm no detective, but was this supposed to be like, I'm coming to you, Chris, balls in your court? Who knows what she meant. But to follow up that message, she released a TikTok in which she lip-synced to an audio clip. You know, that thing that makes people tons of money for doing absolutely nothing on an app. I was going to quote it, but I can't physically type things from TikTok because my brain starts to twitch, so it's my least favorite app in the world right now, and that includes Flappy Bird. The fact that she openly admitted to not only overindulging in no-no juice, but also directly suggesting that Chris's butt, his ball is in her net. I don't know what the emojis mean. Many fans believe she brought this to their attention to save some face when the official lawsuit was released, possibly knowing that this was coming for quite some time. Number 4. Her TV show. Now, Watch Out for the Big Girls is a TV show that only recently came into my life thanks to doing research for this video. The series premiered last year and follows Lizzo as she hunts for confident women to join her world tour as dancers. In fact, among the many cast members on the show were 2 of the 3 three plaintiffs in this case, Ariana Davies and Crystal Williams. The show is just one of the many tactics that she seems to have used to make herself look better when the truth got revealed. Despite the show being a search for new talent, it turned into some kind of like a shield that she could use. How could Lizzo be so mean when she had a whole show dedicated to giving people jobs? Well, following the news of the suit, many people have called to question why Lizzo would work on the project when she's such an advocate for body positivity. Well, with no word from Lizzo yet as to her side of the story, the world is quickly canceling her from society, and we may just end up having to add her to our top 10 destroyed careers of 2023. Number 3. The hostile work environment. Lizzo created an extremely hostile work environment according to the plaintiffs, with several examples that have been backed up by former dancers and even some people involved with the documentary that she was trying to get off the ground. According to the plaintiffs, Lizzo made them work ridiculous hours, including up to 12-hour rehearsal days, and one of the dancers recounted an experience of having to use the washroom and being forced to do it in her pants while rehearsing so that she didn't lose any time. Like, Lizzo, if someone has to use the bathroom, let them go. Yeah, just let them go. It took longer for them to get the poor woman a new change of clothes than it would have taken her to go take 5, you know? Like, next time just let them pee. Let them pee in peace. In fact, as a form of humiliation on the part of Lizzo and her dance coach, they made Davies wear a see-through garment with nothing underneath and finish her day in front of the entire crew. Now, if that is not the definition of a toxic workplace, I'm not sure what is. Number 2, claimed that the dancers were drinking. Lizzo has made many claims regarding the women involved in this case, but one of the most outlandish is the idea that the backup dancers were indulging in no-no juice before every show. Lizzo claimed that the backup crew was lacking in energy, simply going with the motions and getting off the stage quickly as possible. This caused Lizzo to accuse several of the dancers on her team of party-hardying before they were supposed to do their jobs. Dancer Crystal Williams spoke out against the claim immediately, reminding Lizzo about the 12-hour rehearsal days and constant mental strain from working beneath her, being a contributing factor to the so-called dip in energy. Trying to claim that your crew has been slacking when they have the receipts? It's a bad move on Lizzo's part and will surely be one of the several reasons that she's cancelled this year. Number 1, she has said nothing. By far the shadiest thing of all, and the thing taking the top spot on this list, is the fact that Lizzo has said nothing about this at all, and it's not to say that she isn't aware of the suit. In fact, she posted on Instagram 3 separate times on the day that the news broke, but it had nothing to do with the lawsuit. Not only does that mean that she had her phone and was very capable of reading the news, but that she blatantly ignored the possibly thousands of comments and messages she is surely receiving. When something like this happens, it's important that the person being accused of the misdeeds to come forward and either fess up or deny everything. There's no in between. Being silent is the worst thing that you can do. It gives the internet more time to circulate negative stuff, and eventually it'll take over anything good that you try to do and will land you in a realm where no one can hear your screams or cries. Now, Lizzo could very well be taking her sweet time to draft up a proper statement so she doesn't actually say something wrong that the court can use later. Makes sense, because let's face it, this is about to be a rough few months for this woman. I'd wish her luck, but like a lot of people have backed up everything that's being said, so yeah.